Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good day and welcome to the show. Listen, I'm glad to have all you guys here. Now, I have a message. I need you guys to share it on your social media. Even if you just got a Facebook page or you got a Twitter account or whatever, get this message out there to your friends and tell them to spread it to their other friends because it's of vital importance. Now, it's about this virus. It doesn't attack our children. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. So we don't really need so much to focus. I mean, I know they've closed a lot of schools and things, to try to prevent the spread of the virus, and this is good. But this virus goes after the elderly. We have a lot of nursing homes all the way across North America. Canada, United States, many nursing homes. A lot of these nursing homes, most of them, probably for the majority of them, haven't got the virus inside. And they've done a good thing. They've closed a lot of the nursing homes now have closed their doors to visitors. So, when you think about this situation, it's almost like a controlled quarantine. The nursing home doesn't allow visitors, and the people in the nursing home, if they haven't got the virus won't get in. But, wait a minute. The virus can get in. The workers that come in to work in a nursing home do not live in the nursing home. They live out in the community. They can catch it from community spread, and they can bring it into the nursing home. Once it comes inside the nursing home, it can spread rapidly through the residents inside a nursing home. We got many nursing homes across North America. This would be a tragedy because these are the people that are in the nursing homes that are going to be hit the hardest by this virus if it gets into the nursing homes. Well, you're saying, well, Glenn, how do you keep it out of the nursing homes? We need to focus our testing on the nursing home employees and all the nursing homes and all critical care facilities. We need to focus our testing on the employees, all the employees, whether they're sick or not, whether they have symptoms or not. Because with this virus, it has a period of asymptomatic while the person is becoming very contagious during this asymptomatic period. And what asymptomatic basically means is they exhibit no symptoms. So you could have a nursing home worker. Maybe he's just a janitor. He come in there and he can be perfectly healthy, but be carrying the disease, COVID-19. So we need to focus our testing on critical care workers, people who work in nursing homes, people who, right down to the people who clean the floor, the people that prepare the food. The people, we need to focus our testing, probably do tests once a week to make sure that they don't have the virus. And by doing that, we've cut off all other forms because visitors aren't allowed. If there's nothing else coming into the nursing home where they can catch the virus, then we can maybe if we're successful and we're vigilant, maybe we can keep the virus out of these critical care facilities, these nursing homes and everything else, where we see what's happening in Italy. The virus is moving into the nursing homes in Italy. We see this happening in real time, and we still have a chance to possibly prevent this from happening in our country. So that's why I want you guys to get this message out there, to protect the nursing homes, to focus the testing on caregivers, nursing home caregivers, nursing home workers, people that have day-to-day contact with the elderly. We should focus our testing on these people. So that's the point I wanted to make right there. Now, I'm going to make another point before I close down this video. Are we ready for what's going to happen next? Are the markets ready for what's going to happen next? Because to know what's going to happen next, we only have to look at the numbers. Now, what's going to happen next in a country that is Italy? I'm going to take Italy as a for instance. We've seen an awful lot of heartache coming out of Italy in recent days. And I figure Italy has about 60 million people live in Italy. It's a lot of people. If we take the numbers of this virus, how many people in Italy have this virus, and we divide it into the 60 million, we can see that this virus has only moved through a very small percentage of the population. There's only one way to really get free of this virus. A vaccination, if it can come along in time, and vaccinate the people, or herd immunity. Because, why I say this is, because this virus has an R0 value that's extremely high, and by social distancing, they can bring this R0 value down considerably. With all their efforts of social distancing, they're bringing the R0 down. And they're trying to bend the curve, so to speak, so that it doesn't flood the medical system. Because if they didn't do that, the virus would sweep through so quickly that it would overwhelm the medical system, even in well-prepared countries. So what they're doing is they're effectively trying to bring that R0 value down, and they are successful getting it down to around 2.2 or thereabouts in that region. Maybe 2, maybe 2.8, 2.6, somewhere in that area, from what it normally would be, which is astronomically high. Left to its own devices, it would be astronomically high, but they're bringing it down to like 2. But still, if we consider the common flu out there with an R0 value of around 1.35, and they're bringing this down to like a 2 or a 2.2, that's still considerably higher than the common flu. And we know how the common flu can race through communities in the wintertime. So even though they're bringing the R0 value down, we're still in a critical situation. So what happens next? Well, we see Italy has not just sat on their hands. They've worked really hard to bring the R0 value down in Italy, and we see how it's spread in Italy and what it's doing to Italy. All we have to do is really look at the numbers to know what's going to happen next. It's going to continue to increase in Italy because it has a lot more people to infect. There's like 60 million people in Italy, and it's only infected less than 50,000 so far. So you only have to do the math to know how many times 50,000 would divide into 60 million. And then you start to get an idea of the kind of situation that this virus can create. Now, we're a few weeks behind Italy in the United States yet, but we're rapidly expanding toward that point. It's really an awful lot of these ones out there who, in the early days of this virus, said it's nothing more than the flu. I hope by now those people realize the error of their ways, because this is not the flu. This is a more like SARS than it is like the flu, And I mean, this is a very serious thing that we're facing here. So what happens next? Well, the numbers are going to tell you, because this is exponential. And the stock markets, they haven't priced any of this in really yet at this point. So I see the stock markets continuing to move down, and the government continuing to try to keep the stock markets up with basically stimulus, helicopter money, you name it. whatever they can do to keep things regulated and in control, Ultimately, this virus will peak, but we're a long way yet from what we would call herd immunity. And the only way to really get rid of this virus is either herd immunity or a vaccine. And so I'm afraid it's well rooted itself here in Canada and in the United States of America. And in the United Kingdom. A lot of my viewers, they live in these three countries, the United Kingdom, America, or in Canada here. And, that's the vast majority of my viewers. And this virus has well rooted itself in these countries now. It's seeded itself, and then it's become rooted now at this point. And so what happens next? Well, I'll just say it's not going to be pretty. But humanity, I notice first indications of this, humanity's starting to pull together. They're putting aside their differences, and they're starting to realize, starting to dawn on them, something that they should have realized all along, is humanity is a giant family that lives on this planet, and we are stuck underneath this biosphere. All together. We're all actually in the same boat. And this virus is our enemy. So we all have a common enemy now. At this point, every country on earth. The fight against this virus. We need to get over this virus. We need to get past it. And we need to get to the point where we can say it is a thing of the past. We need to get to the point where our kids study in the history books about this period in time. That's where we need to get to. And it's a past memory, because it doesn't exist anymore, but it was something that maybe their parents had to deal with. Way back in the year 2020, when the virus ravaged through the world, and you can read about it in their books. Or by that time, they'll probably be studying about it on their little tiny device, that they have, whatever kind of new device that is, But it'll be history at that point. We need to make this virus history. This means we all have to do our part. Now, within the governments and stuff, these people that are in charge right now, they're just as frightened as everyone else. Think about it for a minute. A lot of the people that are in charge, the demographics show that most of them are men and most of them are over 50. And I'm going to tell you what, that's the age group that this virus targets the most, is men over 50. But they're out there valiantly doing their job, trying to do the best that they can to keep everything up and running through this crisis. This is a crisis of immense proportions, unlike anything we've ever witnessed. And so what happens next? We're going to see a crash unparalleled in modern history that is greater in degree and scope than what happened during the Great Depression. And they talked about that for, almost for the last 100 years. What happened during the Great Depression. This is worse. And so, if our world leaders manage to get us through this in one piece, then they deserve an applause, because this is unequaled in scope and magnitude, what we're facing. And what happens next? You guys want to know what happens next? This is not going to last very long, I don't think. I think that one of two things is going to happen. The world is going to get herd immunity, or we're going to have a rush to get a vaccine. One of those two things. But either way, I see this virus disappearing at a certain point in time in the not too distant future. But you have to sit back and you have to think about, what can I do to protect myself and my family from this, and what can I do to stop the spread of this disease? And one of the most important things that you can do to stop the spread of this disease is following guidelines laid out for you by the government, who's doing their best to try to control this disease. Thank you guys for listening. Like and subscribe. Give me a thumbs up, and we'll catch you guys in the next show. Bye-bye.